We saw the champions, we saw the bands, we saw the cheerleaders, we saw the fans. They say on any given Saturday it's possible to win. So let's talk about the season from the start to the end. We saw the champions, we saw the bands, we saw the cheerleaders, we saw the fans. They say on any given Saturday it's possible to win. So let's talk about the season from the start to the end.
Hey everyone, it's November. Where did fall, summer, where did everything go? Man, we are wrapping up homecomings and this is now the beginning of championship season. And by the time we sit down for some of that good old turkey and cranberry sauce, you know, straight out of the can, of course, and stuffing, man, we're going to be passing out rings in the CIAA and the SIAC and the MEAC and the, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves, but that picture in the MEAC and the SWAC should be a lot clearer by then, to say the least. We'll start things out in the MEAC this week on the No Huddle. We sent our big guns down to GHO because, well, it is the greatest homecoming on earth. Wally Pitt had an entire crew in the Gate City.
Back on the yard at 1601 East Market Street for the greatest homecoming on earth.
You already know, greatest homecoming in the world. Don't let anybody tell you different.
And they might need to change the T and A&T to tailgating, because the grills were smoking and every Aggie I saw had a clean bone in hand.
We gotta have fish every homecoming. Fried fish every homecoming, brother. Aggie pride.
And the family reunion vibes were extra heavy. I met all types of black excellence in the GHO tailgate.
I came to A&T in 1959. During my freshman year, we started the sit-in demonstration at Woolworth. I have met some of the most outstanding leaders in the world right here at A&T.
Lieutenant Governor hopefuls.
I'm a Howard alumni, let me say that.
And that's why she here with us.
But my sister went to A&T, and I represent North Carolina in the General Assembly, and I'm going to be the next Lieutenant Governor of the state of North Carolina.
Miss Black USA.
Hey, I'm Shonda Branch, and I am your Ms. Black USA. I'm a big blue tiger. I went to Tennessee State University, class of 2007, but I am an Aggie by marriage. This is my husband, Corey, and he is an Aggie all the way down to his heart. So we live here in Raleigh, North Carolina, and so it's a lot easier for us to pop in here. I didn't make it to mine, but he's treating me to GHO.
After we got married some 6 years ago, I was able to bring her here for football games, and we're an hour away in Raleigh, where I'm also in Raleigh City Council. So, you know, it was an easy sell to get her to come here.
As well as my own kinfolk, Sybil, the voice behind the cookout classic Don't Make Me Over, who was also Miss A&T back in her day.
And for me, it was my outlet. I did not plan on being a musician. I wanted to be a writer, songwriter, but you know, God had another plan. And so it allowed me to be able to, when I was here, after I graduated, I would do gigs around New York, New Jersey, and just kind of the areas where I lived. And the opportunity came for a deal in 1989, and it was a house record, Falling in Love. And then subsequently, later on, Don't Make Me Over came out, and that kind of set the tone for the continued love, because people at A&T knew who I was in terms of singing, but the world got to know who I was. Honey, I was on the stage in Corbett doing my thing. So they asked me to come back, and I did a homecoming show here at Corbett, and it was great. And what the beauty was, you know, line dancing was a big deal, like electric slide. They ended up electric sliding to Don't Make Me Over, but it was fab. A whole floor filled with nothing but Aggies and Aggie supporters just doing a dance together. So for me, it was really cool. So the minute that don't make me, don't make me, don't. Once that hit, I was good.
No cap. You simply cannot get this type of energy anywhere else but in HBCU homecoming, and I do believe GHO lived all the way up to its name, especially once I got down to the field, because the Aggies brought that same tailgate energy into the stadium. My side was crunker than your side. We had an alumni swag surf that was topped off by Miss Parker, who brought her split back with her to homecoming. Now, A&T's whole squad was Aggie after their loss in Florida last week, and the Howard Bison were sitting ducks as the dogs went completely off the leash. Jermaine Martin setting it off like Cleo. Old buddy tries to take him down by the locks, but the roots stem strong. Jermaine Martin, 65 yards for the score, 7-0 A&T in the first. Now, Howard did have exactly one highlight in this one. Quentin Williams keeps the read and takes it for a 12-yard score, then makes a bold statement about the Aggie D. A couple field goals makes it 13-6 Aggies. Howard going for it on 4th down and won't nothing sweet this time. Williams gets sacked to force the turnover on downs, and before I can get to the other side, Jermaine Martin had ran it 55 yards for another touchdown. I got there just in time to see him going live with former Aggie linebacker Adrian McPherson. 20-6 A&T. And A&T keeps the hits coming like Motown in the 60s. Khalil Carter was cruising as he breaks loose for this 28-yard touchdown. Then Carter hits the GOAT, Elijah Bell. Most receivers got hands, E-Bell only needs fingers. That's a 40-yard touchdown to make it 34-6 at the half. And that catch even had Lamar Bernard and Denzel Keys reminiscing about how they used to get down not too long ago. It was all gas, no break for A&T in the second half. Khalil Carter, play action. He finds Elijah Bell, who is looking like that other wideout from West Virginia on this one. 5 catches, 94 yards, 2 touchdowns for Wheeling, West Virginia's own E-Bell to go. Then it's back to the Conway killer, Jermaine Martin. 9 yards untouched for another score, 138 yards and 3 touchdowns on only 7 carries. Jermaine is having himself a year that's going to end in a whole lot of trophies. It's 47-6 A&T, and the Aggie D was showing that it still ain't sweet out here for Howard at G-Ho. Greensboro's own Chris Mosley with the incredible falling one-handed interception. A&T gets the ball back, and Jalen Fowler throws a screen pass to Zach Leslie, who drags 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Bison with him into the end zone. That makes the score 54-6 A&T. They call them blowouts. We call it a mollywop, and it ain't even over yet. The Aggies lead the Bison with one last parting shot. The freshman, TJ Boyce, with a cut, a stiff arm, and the 8th and final touchdown of G-Ho 2019. 64-6 is the final score as the Aggies dominate the Bison and look forward to some big games in the next few weeks that will determine if the Aggies can three-peat as the MEAC champs.
All right, thanks, guys. FAMU coming off the big win against the Aggies last week. Trap game against Morgan State? No. But the Rattlers were able to pick up the win both on and off the field in Baltimore.
Saturday in Baltimore, the FAMU Rattlers took on the Morgan State Bears in MEAC action. Previously, the team had planned to do a community service event with the former U.S. Congressman Elijah Cummings. But with his passing, they decided to visit Lakeland Elementary School instead. The team spent nearly 2 hours interacting with kids who were just happy to see someone who cared about them. It's hard to tell if the kids or the players had more fun. The team was joined by FAMU First Lady Sharon Robinson and FAMU Football First Lady Shea Simmons. Team leaders like Ryan Stanley, Xavier Smith, and Marquise Bell led the team to join the kids for their after-school program that featured exercise, computer programming, music recording, wood shop, and other relatable skills. Kudos to head coach Willie Simmons for his efforts to build men as much off the field as on the field. Fam loves the kids, but there was a game to play and be more. The Bears, however, didn't care what FAMU had going on before then. They just wanted to protect their house. Still a little banged up from the previous week's battle with North Carolina A&T, Coach Simmons decided to sit record-breaking quarterback Ryan Stanley and go with redshirt freshman Rashawn McKay. Morgan got on the board first with a 27-yard pass from DeAndre Harris to Eamon Parker. It put the Bears up for their only lead of the day. McKay would answer with a 70-yard, 10-play drive that ended with this Bo Kendrick 3-yard run untouched in the end zone. This knotted the game at 7-7. From there, the FAMU defense would smother the Bears, not allowing another touchdown the entire day. FAMU senior kicker Yahia Ali showed off his legs with a 50-yard field goal, giving FAMU the lead for good. The Bears' speedy receiver, Jordan Cofield, kept the engine running on this pass play, but the FAMU defense got into the scoring column with a big hit from Eric Smith on a lateral from Harris. While everyone else was standing around, graduate defensive back Terry Jefferson executes a 50-yard scoop and score, giving the Rattlers a 17-7 lead. Morgan's Nicholas O'Shea executed a 22-yard field goal to bring the Bears within a score at 17-10. Terrell Jennings scooted in the end zone on this misdirection pass from McKay to give the Rattlers a 24-10 lead going into halftime. That's when the magnificent marching machine took over and dazzled the crowd with the drum major high-stepping. And of course, no Morgan State halftime is complete without the Foxy dancers strutting their stuff. The Rattler used ball control to milk the clock for most of the third and fourth quarters and left with the team winning streak intact. FAMU, now 7-1 overall and 5-0 in the MEAC, has caused chaos in figuring out what the conference champions will be. Hold on for this wild ride down the wire. For HBCU Game Day, I'm Corey Staples.
You're watching No Huddle on Aspire TV. For the latest news on Black college football and culture, go to hbcugameday.com. We'll be right back.
Heading into the Magic City Classic, both teams still in the hunt for the SWAC Eastern Division crown. Alabama A&M on the attack first. Aquill Glass finding Zabrion Moore 76 yards down to the one-yard line. Next play is Jordan Bentley plowing across the goal line. Bulldogs up 7-0. Later, A&M big on special teams. Marion Collins blocks the punt. Devin Booker recovers, and the Bulldogs with great field position. But you got to do something with it. The drive stalls. Spencer Corey misses a 42-yard field goal attempt, still a 7-0 ball game. Alabama State wakes up in the second quarter. Kadarius Davis finding his favorite target, Michael Jefferson, a 48-yard scoring play. We have ourselves a 7-7 ball game. A&M in punt formation. It's blocked by the Hornets. Eric Felt scoops it up and scores. 14-7 Alabama State. Hornets on the move again. You're not seeing things is Davis and Jefferson one more time. Another touchdown, this time from 10 yards out. Our score at halftime, Alabama State on top of Alabama A&M, 21-7. But a new half brought a new outlook for A&M. And some new weather. It stopped raining. Bulldogs came out of the locker room on fire. Jordan Bentley capping off an 11-play drive with this touchdown, 21-14, a 7-point deficit. Fourth quarter, Glass keeps it on the option, scores from 3 yards out. We are tied, 21 apiece, and we're going to overtime. In the first overtime, A&M with the ball first. Jordan Bentley bounces it in. A&M up 28-21. Alabama State, their turn. Davis connects with Tyreek Allen for a Hornets touchdown. 28-all, another overtime. Hornets get the ball first in the second overtime. Davis in the back of the end zone. Jahad Booker comes down with the touchdown. 35-28 Hornets. Bulldogs facing third down. Glass rolls to the left, throws it up, and is Zabrion Moore once again in the end zone. A Bulldogs touchdown, 35-all. You guessed it, third overtime. In the third OT, it's time to drive the Bentley. Jordan Bentley, the senior running back, had over 200 all-purpose yards, scores on this 6-yard screen play. You have to go for two. Bentley taking the shovel pass into the end zone, 43-35 Bulldogs up. Hornets need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. They get 6 points here. Davis to Tyreek Allen again across the middle, 43-41. The 2 is mandatory. Would we get a tie? Desmond Fletcher comes up with the huge deflection for Alabama A&M, and for the second year in a row, the Bulldogs win it in Birmingham. They take the 78th Magic City Classic. Alabama A&M now sitting at 2-1 in the conference. The SWAC East had a little more drama dating back to Thursday night before last. Jackson State and Prairie View A&M. Jackson State came up with the 38-35 double OT win over Prairie View. And don't look now, but that quote-unquote disappointing season that Jackson State was supposedly having, I might have said that a time or two or three. Well, eat those words. Jackson State is, well, right now they're 2-1 in the SWAC. They still have Alcorn State on the schedule with the Soul Bowl, so anything could happen. Southern took the loss to Alcorn State over the weekend, but the Jaguars did get an assist from Grambling, who beat UAPB. So that means that the Jaguars are the only one-loss team in the SWAC, while Alcorn State is the only team not to have lost any games at all. So Southern still in it in the division, thanks to that assist from their good friends over at Grambling. When we come back, it is time to visit the CIAA. We have some drama over there as well. Stick around. You're watching the No Huddle.
You're watching No Huddle on Aspire TV. For the latest news on Black college football and culture, go to HBCUGameDay.com. We'll be right back.
The showdown in the CIAA was Bowie State and Virginia Union. Now, both teams have run through the rest of the conference up until last weekend, so when they got together, it was time for Bully to meet Bully.
The first half was a pretty nice exchange of blows. Bowie State fumbled on its opening drive, and Virginia Union capitalized to take the early 7-0 lead. The Bulldogs got it together on their next drive. Quarterback Jerome Johnson orchestrated an 86-yard scoring drive, capped by a touchdown reception from receiver Montez Clay to tie the game. VUU responded with its own impressive drive and started to threaten, but settled for a field goal to take the lead back at 10-7. I don't think Johnson likes being down, though. He let off an 80-yard bomb to redshirt receiver Darius Bowman to give BSU a 14-10 lead. Johnson found Clay again for a 35-yard pass to push the lead up to 21-10. Receiver Deshaun David grabbed a 13-yard touchdown to take the Bulldogs into halftime up 28-17. The second half was a completely different game, folks. BSU came out the half and put up 24 unanswered points. The Bulldogs marched down the field on their opening drive, and running back Khalil Wilkins found the end zone with a 9-yard run to push the lead up to 18 points. Johnson found David again for a 17-yard touchdown to tack on 7 more points. Say hello to sophomore defensive back Dimitri Morcel, as he said, "I'll take that," 92 yards to the house, and gave BSU a devastating 52-17 lead. This was actually Morcel's second interception of the game, and Coach Sewell was loving every minute of it. A victory formation and waves for safe travels to the opponent sealed the deal for Bowie State. Now sitting at 8-0 overall, 5-0 in conference play, and 3-0 in the division, the win lets BSU maintain control of the CIAA North.
We see you, Bowie State. One more win in the next 2 weeks, and the Bulldogs will clinch the Northern Division yet again in the CIAA. St. Aug upset the apple cart. They knocked off Fayetteville State last weekend. That was like 1-6 versus 6-1, and I don't know that we saw that one coming, but that's why they play the game. So that sets up a 3-way race for the Southern Division title. Fayetteville State, what do you have to do? Well, the Broncos can clinch the division if they simply win out. No problem there, right? Except, you got to beat everybody. Winston-Salem State, they can clinch the division if they win out, because they have to face the Broncos in the final week. So it would be very exciting for the final game of the regular season in the Southern Division to be for a berth in the championship. It could happen, or Shaw could win if it wins out, and if Fayetteville State suffers one more loss in the last 2 weeks of the regular season. So once again, we have another exciting finish, it seems, set up for the CIAA Southern Division.
You're watching No Huddle on Aspire TV. For the latest news on Black college football and culture, go to HBCUGameDay.com. We'll be right back.
Busy weekend in the AUC last weekend. We had Clark Atlanta at home against Fort Valley State. And of course, one of those great homecomings, Morehouse and Spelman. We call it Spellhouse, and Benedict was on the menu. It was Spellhouse in Atlanta. Translation, homecoming for Spelman and Morehouse, and it was as thick as duck butter all around the stadium and in the stands. Alums back in town showing that they still have it, and we're here for it. And so is Pop Pop. We picked this one up in the second half. Morehouse already looking good and feeling good, up 22-0 over Benedict. Now Benedict not having the year it expected, winless so far, but on the comeback trail, maybe. Third quarter, Raylan Elzy on the receiving end of this Eric Phoenix pass. Trust me, he caught it. Just a bit of two ships passing in the night behind the lens. Later in the fourth quarter, Elijah Watson with a rumbling, bumbling, stumbling touchdown catch. 22-13 ball game. The Morehouse lead trimmed to 9. Keep it moving in the fourth quarter. Michael Sims with an insurance policy to Tremel Gooden. And do my eyes deceive me? Santo Dunn earning his scholarship. Not only is he a superstar rusher, he kicks extra points. This one missed though, but Morehouse wins the game 34-13. A little earlier in the afternoon, across the street, it was Clark Atlanta on Senior Day, hosting one of the teams to beat in the SIAC, Fort Valley State. We find the Panthers up 6-3 second quarter, and Clark Atlanta, another team looking for its first win. Charles Stafford on the 10-yard pass to Drakkar Jerry. Panthers go up 12-3. Fort Valley not flustered, though. They just pick and chip their way down the field. Slade Jarman, a tactician. He ends this drive, calling his own number. That makes it a 12-10 ball game. Football, much like boxing, protect yourself at all times. Ouch. 6:31 to go before the half. Jarman with the flick of the wrist. Quay Walker with the catch, and then watch this extra gear that he's able to dig down and get. That would put the Wildcats up 17-12. All right, back to the game. Third quarter, we didn't see the play, but Slade Jarman goes down with what we can best describe as a lower body injury. He has to be taken off the field in an ambulance. Everyone wishing Jarman a speedy recovery. He's one of the best to do it in the SIAC this season. Fort Valley State goes up 20-12 in the third quarter, and the Wildcats have to hold off a pesky Panther effort in the second half, which they are able to do just barely. Fort Valley State gets the win 34-27. The status of Slade Jarman will be a big item to watch moving forward with a promising Fort Valley State team. So that's it for the show, everyone. I'm Tolly Carr. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great weekend, a great week, whenever and wherever you're watching the show. Thanks for hanging out with us. Visit us at hbcugameday.com. For the entire crew, I'm TC. We'll see you later.